Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Nidhi Shastri and today's video is going to be about the 10 mistakes that I made during my NEET PG preparation and some ways or some tips on how you could avoid it. So to give you a little brief, I graduated in the year 2019. 2018 to 19 was my internship period and I actually started studying in the year 2018, but because we were also posted in a municipality hospital along with our hospital, there was always a very hectic schedule set for us. Our internship was very hectic when we were posted in the municipality hospital, making it very difficult to study in that duration. But I still wanted to focus on completing my internship first. I didn't want to take a break between my internship to study, so I completed the internship. I studied as much as I could, and then I decided to study with complete focus from 19 to 20 and to give a better shot in the NEET PG 2020 exam. And because we are on this topic, I would like to actually honestly put myself out there, because I'm pretty sure that there are overachievers in entrance exams, but there are also people like me out there who are good at academics and who are good at studying or getting good marks during their other courses, but are not very good at entrance exams. So honestly, during my first attempt, that is just during my internship period in January 2019, I did not qualify. I was not eligible to go for the counseling. Then in my next attempt, that was in the year 2020, in the January 2020 exam, I just marginally qualified, but that was after the eligibility criteria lowered. Then coming to the next NEET, that was in 2021, September of 2021, that is when I actually qualified, but my rank was still not extremely high. And in these 2.5 years, I have kind of seen everything. I have seen failures. I have seen getting demotivated to an extent where I considered leaving this branch. I have seen myself getting so insecure in life, which I hadn't been ever, doubting myself, doubting my abilities. And it was just the lowest phase of my life. Maybe if I had avoided those feelings and procrastinated a little lesser, I could have gotten a better rank, or maybe I wouldn't. We would never know that. But here are 10 mistakes that I made, and I'm going to talk about each one of them. And I hope that anyone who's preparing for any kind of entrance exam in their life, for their graduation or their post-graduation, or for any other job interviews, I hope that this helps you and you can take back something from this video. So the first mistake I made was getting scared of the MCQ pattern. Now, as I just told you that I was good at these exams, but that is because, majority of that was theory. Whenever it comes to the MCQ pattern, I just fear it because I'm not good at it. And whenever we're not good at something, we tend to avoid it. That is just human mentality, I guess. So that's what always happens with me. If I read a paragraph and you ask me about the paragraph, I can explain it to you in a very detailed manner. I can articulate my words very well while describing it. If you ask me to write it down, I would write it perfectly well. But if you ask me something from the same paragraph in a multiple choice question format, I would not be able to give you an answer for that. And that is just how I suck at it. So there is no explanation to it. But what I started doing is I started letting the MCQs get the better of me. I started fearing them, which brings me to my second mistake of not practicing enough MCQs. Now, everyone around me told me that you have to keep practicing more MCQs in order to get a hold of the pattern and start getting confident about solving them. But as I just told you, I was completely avoiding doing it, and hence I just thought, if I'm not able to get good amount of marks in them, I'm just going to avoid solving them at all. So I did start out, if I would solve even 3 MCQs in one point of time, I was getting all 3 of them wrong, and that just demotivated me, so I left it altogether. But 2 months before my entrance exam, I actually sat down and started solving them more and more, and I realized that a lot of MCQs were either directly repeated or indirectly repeated in the exam, and I was able to actually solve a lot of questions because I practiced those in the last 2 months. My third mistake would be not choosing the mode of classes properly. So during my MBBS time, all my friends joined offline classes. Online classes were there, online applications were there, but they still took a backseat when it compared to offline classes. And that's what I did. Just because everyone around me was joining them, I joined them too. Now, I am someone who does not have the attention span to sit in long lectures. I would rather focus on, watching videos of them to learn it properly and then studying it, and doing both of these at my own time and pace. But because I was sitting in those lectures, I was not giving any attention to them. I was not paying any attention to them. I was just sitting there because I had paid the money for those classes. But again, it was a waste of my time. I could have utilized that time into studying something and actually making use of that time. But again, this is one of my mistakes. It honestly does not matter what your friends are doing. It doesn't matter what everyone what is trending at that time. What depends is what you like to do. Are you a person who likes sitting in lectures because you can your attention span would be better sitting in a class around people and giving a dedicated number of hours a day into that, and being able to ask the professor doubts at any given point of time? If that is your thing, then opt for offline classes. If you are a person who would rather watch videos and again do it at your own pace, then you can opt for online options or even go for hybrid options. But it depends on what you prefer. So when you're making the choice of choosing your classes to study for the entrance exam, do it very correctly. Do what you are the most comfortable in, and do something in which you are going to give your 100% into. My fourth mistake was not being consistent. Now, we would never have days where we are continuously studying without a break. We will do it. We are all again humans. There are going to be days when we don't feel like studying, or we have other commitments on those days, and it's completely normal to study for less number of hours. But what I would do is, if I have an event coming up, I would be so excited that I wouldn't study for at least 2 to 3 days prior to it. Then again, once the event is done, or a trip is done, I was tired, so I wouldn't study for a couple of days after that. And this just kept happening, and I was just finding new reasons to not study. But what is important is that you study for some hours a day, every day. It's not going to be possible to study for 10 to 12 hours each day. But even if you're able to study one topic or a short topic of a short subject for 1 or 2 hours a day and then practice the MCQs, you're still good to go. The next mistake I made was getting demotivated by the different rules that were being passed. Whenever there was any change in the reservation, then the percentages for the reservations, I would start getting demotivated. I would start thinking that it's anyways going to be impossible for me to get into a new college, so why study? Or, why put in so many hours into it? And that was a big downfall, because I started focusing on the things around me instead of focusing on what I can do. Despite any new rule, despite any change in the pattern of the exam, if you are truly consistent and if you are putting the hard work that is essential for an entrance exam or any exam in life, then the result shouldn't matter. It's important that you put in your everything into studying for it. And that's one thing I didn't do. I let these things get the better of my preparation. Now, the sixth mistake I made was trying to study from home. Now, this differs from individual to individual. If, your house is rather empty and you are someone who likes to study from the comfort of their houses, then of course go for it. But if you are someone who's not able to focus in their house, then it's always better to join a library. During my first year, I was again at home. I was with my pets and having the best time of my life, because this was the only time I was actually free after a lot of years to be able to spend time with my pets and my family members. So I, tried to enjoy as much as I could. And then COVID hit us. So we were all stuck at homes, and I was again, binge watching on shows with my parents, or we would just make new dishes. And basically my entire day went into spending time with my family. Now, it is not that bad when you think of it, but when you're preparing for an entrance exam, which needs so much of dedication and so many hours to be put in a day, if you are then getting distracted by other things, or, by your family members, again in my case, then it's a better idea to probably opt for a library, or to go into another silent place, or a co-working space, or any other place where you would be able to completely focus and give undivided attention to your studies. Please opt for that. The seventh mistake I made was deviating from my branch and going into other fields. So again, this is something which happened because I was so demotivated and discouraged by my preparation and by the marks that I got in 2 consecutive entrance exams, in the 2019 and the 2020 exam, that I started to second guess myself. I thought maybe I am not cut to do my post graduation in this course, and I decided to pursue other courses which were not related to medical. So again, this was a mistake, because of course, learning any new thing is not a bad thing. I ended up becoming an entrepreneur because of that. I started my own company because of that, and that course actually helped me a lot. It enlightened me a lot, but I was deviating from my main field, that was medicine, and I was not giving time to NEET PG. So that was a major mistake that I made, was to deviate from my path and deviate from the field. So it's okay if you are constantly failing at a particular thing. It's okay if you are not getting a good rank in multiple attempts as well. But what's again important is that you still stick your ground. You still have a little bit of confidence in yourself, at least, that you are going to ace it the next time. Don't lose that confidence, because that confidence is the key for not just getting through your preparation phase but also your exam, and to stick to your branch. This is a key factor. Just be confident that no matter what, I am going to kill it in the next entrance exam. The next mistake I made was not starting to work alongside my preparation. So again, it had been 1 year of break when I was preparing for the next exam, that is the 2021 exam. There was already a 1 year gap after my internship, and of course COVID also hit us, and I did do COVID duty in the middle, but I was not consistently working somewhere. Now what happens when you take a break is that again you're out of the field, you are out of the hospital, and you're out of the surroundings of of the clinical, of basically the clinical atmosphere. So when you are out of it, you start again deviating into other things, or you start procrastinating more. When you are in a hospital setting, you're seeing the things every day, you're seeing the practical aspects of it every day, you tend to be more aligned with your subject, which didn't happen in my case. Because I took a longer gap, in my mind I was still getting farther away from my branch. In fact, when I was doing my COVID duty for a couple of months in the middle, I realized I was studying more during that time, because I was in that clinical setting. When I used to come home, I knew the importance of the entrance exam, and I was being more productive at that time. But when I was sitting idle at home, I was not even studying, not even working. I was away from all of it, and that just made everything even worse. The next mistake was not joining enough groups or bonding with like-minded people during my preparation. So during my the last attempt that I had in 2021, by that time a lot of my friends, a lot of my colleagues had already gotten seats. So I did not have enough people around me to discuss about the entrance exam, and also I did not join enough of the Facebook groups or Telegram groups where there were discussions, there were healthy academic discussions about any new updates or about any new pattern of questions. So I was away from all of it. When I actually towards the end joined these groups, I realized that there was so much information, and the whole time that I was scrolling through my phone, I could have used it into doing something better, into learning something more. So again, it is important to surround yourself with like-minded people who have the same goals and who are wanting to do so much better, so that you have a source of motivation constantly around you. And my last mistake was not seeking help when required. So again, these years that I was at home preparing for my exams, and also constantly not qualifying for them or not getting enough rank to get into a good college, they demotivated me to a very large extent, where it took a toll on my mental health. I suffered from depression. I was getting more and more insecure every day, looking at my peers get into good colleges and get into good fields. So basically everything about my mental health was on a low, and this was actually stopping me even more from preparing better for my entrance exams. I did seek help of a therapist, and the approach that they gave me actually changed my mindset quite a lot. In case you are preparing for an entrance exam, all the very best for it, and I hope you found this video useful, and I hope you could learn from my mistakes. In case you have any friends or family members who are also preparing for an entrance exam, do not forget to share this video with them, and of course do not forget to like and subscribe to this video. Thank you so much.